minister friend of mine who worked with the Church of Christ, I believe at that time, and they came out with a booklet called Environmental Racism in poor neighborhoods or in African American, Hispanic neighborhoods across the country. And I just said, that's what's going on here in Louisville. Look where all the major plants are, the ones that pollute and send out cancerous particles,
right?
And then you would look at the advertising that these major companies be putting on the television like they were friends of the community.
Right.
You know, when I ride by a Louisville Gas and Electric Light sign, and it talks about we are environmentally concerned. LG&E is the worst polluter in the state of Kentucky. But they're putting out particulate matter that is not cancerous. But Rubbertown is one of the worst polluting places in the United States of America. And these company officials will tell you, we do as much as the Air Pollution Control Board will allow us to do. And they have had the full range of being allowed to do what they want to do. So we began to file complaints with the federal government about the Rubbertown and some of its practices, some of the polluting that the Rubbertown companies were doing, and we're still doing it. And you know, that is some frustrating work. You don't see any quick victories.
Well, you're going up against multi-billion-dollar companies here.
It's like David going up against Goliath, ant going up against a camel. You know?
Really?
And these fellows are in denial. These corporates are in denial that they pollute. But when you have 25.9% of the people in West Louisville, Portland, especially West Louisville, 4210, 4211, 4212 zip codes that are dying of cancer. Most people that I bury as a pastor, as a minister, they're dying of cancer or they're dying of some respiratory problem. Not only is there a higher cancer rate in Louisville's West End and throughout the city, but there's a high respiratory problem rate. And the people either have asthma or they have allergy. Every third person has either one of the two, you know, asthma or allergy, and some of them have it in the worst way.
I guess in a state that has the highest smoking rate of any state in the U.S., that the denial is like a blanket.
It is. But you know, a lot of these people that have died, and we checked the history, a lot of them were not smoking people. And so,
right.
And when babies are born, babies come in this world in certain parts of the town deformed with problems, with issues that respiratory issues. Now that's a health factor. That's an environmental factor there. That's an environmental factor, and
there's no
doubt about it.
What as of right now, what progress do you feel like you've made? Is it just like a greased pig that you can't really get anywhere with these companies?
I like what one reporter says. Well, Reverend, you either have the choice of depending on George Bush to resolve the issue, or Governor Fletcher to resolve the issue. And I said, we're in a world of hurt. We're in a world of hurt. Either one of them trying to deal with pollution problem. I don't see where either party has done much to deal with the pollution problem, Republican or Democrat. You know, pollution is usually on the low totem pole on people's plate until they get sick themselves.
Right.
You know, poor people are trying to survive, so pollution is not a priority. But our agency took it upon itself to challenge the pollution issues in this community, not only air, but water issues. The Ohio River is one of the dirtiest rivers in the South. And you can fish in that river, and you can come up with fish that are deformed, fish that look like frogs. It is unreal. The fish that come out of the Ohio River. And we have warned people not to eat that fish. Chickasaw Park has a pond that had fish in it that were 15 times, had dioxin 15 times the normal level. And that's terrible. That's where it was right next to the old Ashland oil refinery. Ashland runs the state too. They have a big part in this state, so they left an old refinery next to the Chickasaw Park Pond, where children fish, where people fish, and where ducks and geese are all the time. And that pond was poisoned. It was poisoned. The city never drug the sediment in the bottom of the pond. They killed the fish and then restocked it with more fish. So the sediment is still there. It wasn't drugged.
Even today?
Even today, it's still there. It's still there. So it just goes to show you how much the life of how much is the life worth to individuals in administrative positions in this community. You have Lake Dreamland, which is far from Lake Dreamland anymore. So those people have been overwhelmed by pollution. The Rubbertown company, the companies in Rubbertown, several of them lead the nation in polluting. You have Borden Chemical and American. What is it? American. Here's a senior moment here, but you have several. You have Zeon. See, these companies change their names all the time. They change the name, and I don't know why they change the name. Maybe they try to keep you from tracking them down. But the American Synthetic, that's the name of the company. Roman Haas. Yeah. I mean, they put out butadiene. They put out butadiene, which is a carcinogenic chemical, which enters into people's body, and it is an issue.
Have you ever gotten to U of L Medical School to cooperate, or the
U of L hadn't been too cooperative. They're bringing a doctor who will say, and they brought in several doctors who have stated that our lifestyle is the reason why there's so much cancer mortality rate in this community. In fact, the mayor said that. Mayor Abraham stated that, and he's a personal friend, but I totally disagree with what he says. Barbecue.
That may be true for the East End.
But that's what he said. Our lifestyle, but it's proven. It's been proven all over the country that when you put a particulate matter in the air, like LG&E does with its 2 power plants in this community, that you're gonna raise the respiratory problems in the area. Morris Farm and Treatment Plant put a pellet factory without a public hearing. Pellet factory, which is human waste being turned to fertilizer, and but it didn't have a hearing. We challenged that. Why didn't they have a hearing? But it's all right. Poor people are expendable. We'd rather have the tax dollars. You understand?